If you want to get in contact with me, the best way to do it is on Instagram. If you just want to say what up, if you want to tell me you love my videos, you can tell me you hate my videos, but the best way to do that is on Instagram. Peace, y'all. Jonny Fastlane here. So, 6ix9ine says he wants his sentence right now. And Lil Baby says Young Thug used to pay him to stay off the streets. Desiigner wants off of his record label, and Trae Tha Truth meets with an elderly carjacking victim. Let's talk hip-hop. So after 6ix9ine's highly publicized case, right? And y'all know what's going on, right? The whole situation is that he got arrested almost a year ago. They were telling him he was going to face 47 years. So he started working with the prosecution right, the day right after they took him into custody, right? Basically told everybody what his role in 9 Trae was. Told them that, he did participate in robberies or pay people for shootings or even just, launder money through his record label so that, 9 Trae could have money to do what they do, right? 9 Trae already had people that worked in the feds though that were already, wrapped up with the feds, working with the prosecution and going to set people up, right? So like CEO Chris was a person who was working with the feds since 2013 and was going to testify against, Mel Murder and Shoddy and all these people anyway, right? But 6ix9ine also helped out get a lot of other people convicted like Harv and Nuke, right? So the week that just passed, Harv and Nuke, they received their sentence, well not their sentence, but they received their verdict, whether or not they were guilty or not guilty with the whole kidnapping of 6ix9ine, right? And they were found guilty, right? And nobody thought they weren't going to be found guilty because there were so many phone taps and tapes and, video of the kidnapping and all kinds of stuff, right? The whole situation is though that 6ix9ine testified and he said, yeah, it was these two dudes that kidnapped me right here, right? So now that they were found guilty, they haven't been given their sentence yet, right? And I think one of the only people that have been given their sentence that we really know or even care about would be Shoddy, who got 15 years, which actually seemed pretty lenient, right? But 6ix9ine did what he had to do as far as the prosecution goes, right? He testified against these dudes and he did what he said he was gonna do. So now 6ix9ine is saying that he wants his sentence now, right? Because they found 6ix9ine guilty, but they didn't give him his time yet, right? They found Harv and Nuke guilty, but they didn't give him their time yet, right? They found Mel Murder guilty, but they didn't give him his time yet. Y'all understand and see what's going on. The only person that got found guilty and got their time was Shoddy, right? Well, as far as people that we know about, because there are other 9 Trae members that really weren't that close to 6ix9ine that did get their time, but we don't really care about what's going on with them, right? So the whole thing is now though that 6ix9ine was scheduled to have a court date on January 24th, 2020, which is a few months from now, and during that time he'll figure out how much time he's gonna get, right? And then we all speculate, and even 6ix9ine himself thinks that he's just gonna get time served, right? Which is probably what he's gonna get because he's asking the judge to expedite the entire thing, right? So this here is paperwork, right? And it says that 6ix9ine, the parties respectfully write and request that the present's investigation report to be ordered, that the sentencing date be scheduled for Mr. Hernandez. Counsel for Mr. Hernandez respectfully requests that the sentencing be scheduled on an expedited basis, right? And they're saying that the government has no problem with this, right? So the prosecution does see and understand and acknowledge that Mr. Hernandez or Tekashi 6ix9ine did what he said he was going to do, held up his end of the bargain. So why can't he get his sentence, tomorrow or Monday or whatever the case may be, right? Because he thinks he's going to be doing time served, and we all kind of think so too. So if they say, okay, time served, boom, and they bang that hammer, then 6ix9ine is out of jail the very next day or, within the next couple of days, right? And this is crazy because 6ix9ine said that when he gets out, he's not doing witness protection, he's not removing any of the tattoos, he's going back to Brooklyn, he's going to hide in plain sight, he's going to record, he's going to be bigger than he ever was, and he's going to pay for 24-hour security, which is insane, right? Will he be bigger than he ever was? I'm not sure, but it is very polarizing for a lot of people to see some rapper, you know, go on the stand, testify against people in his crew, come out and try to rap again, right? Before he was trolling and it was just like, suck my dick, and that was it. And he was pretty big, but if he gets out now and he's like, yeah, I'm the rapper that testified against my people, suck my dick, you know, it would be even crazier. But I don't know if hip-hop will accept him back in the game. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
Go to the studio, I make a little song, but I put the little clip on my Instagram. When I put it on my Instagram, Gucci Mane come under there like, I'ma sign him. And Thug was like, oh, he already signed me. And from then on, I just started like, every day, I ain't stopped, I'm here now. Like, Young Thug, like, he gave me all the jewels. Like, it's times, like, Young Thug really, literally, like, paid me to leave the neighborhood. Like, bro, you can rap, you got it, I'm telling you, like, you could be net, like, bro, you gotta leave the hood, like, I'm telling you. Like, bro, I pay you to come to the hood today. Like, how much you gonna make today? Like, I'm gonna pay you to come to the studio, just stay at the studio all day. Like, real deal, like, on me every day, like, on me every day. Like, bro, I'm telling you, like, you got something in you, like, take advantage of it, because I was making more money hustling than I was rapping, so I was more into hustling. But I wasn't looking at the bigger picture of rapping to where I am today.
All right, so Lil Baby does an interview, right, recently, and he's basically just talking about like coming up in Atlanta and a lot of people that supported him and everything, right? And some of the people that he says that really supported him was Gucci Mane, right? And this is crazy because Gucci Mane actually supports a lot of young dudes, right? He's not like one of those older rappers that's like, get off my lawn, or, you know, I don't understand their rap or whatever like that. Gucci Mane always like embraces the young dudes, and that's why Gucci Mane always continues to stay young, right? And Gucci Mane also not only embraced Lil Baby and kind of brought him into the game, but he also embraced Young Thug and brought him into the game too, right? When nobody even knew him, Gucci Mane and Young Thug came out with 2 mixtapes together, like way back in the day, like 2012, 2013-ish, and the mixtapes were actually pretty good, right? It was like right around the time where Young Thug came out with that song, I'm a stoner, I'm a stoner, I'm a stoner. But anyway, right? So apparently around that same time too, Lil Baby was out there, but he wasn't rapping. He was just like in the streets or whatever, right? And I guess Young Thug was basically saying to Lil Baby like, yo, you're mad talented, you're dope, you're a fly dude, and I don't want to see you get in any trouble, and I think that this rap thing is what you should and could really do, right? And then also Lil Baby, I remember seeing like an interview of him before, like on the Breakfast Club, where he was kind of talking about like Coach K and P and how they were really trying to urge him to stay out of the streets and just to like hang around the Migos and just like watch them in the studio or whatever like that, and trying to give him like a taste of like the rap life, because they really wanted him to be a rapper, right? And that's crazy because a lot of time when you got somebody that wants to be a rapper, they're the ones that's like begging the CEO, hey, let me hang out in the studio with the Migos, hey, let me ride around with y'all. But these dudes was begging Lil Baby to ride around with them. They was like, nah man, you don't need to be in the streets, you need to be hanging out with us, right? So that's the same thing that happened with Young Thug. So Young Thug seen that Lil Baby had a lot of potential, that he was a cool dude, that he was dope. So he was like, fine, right? I know that you make money when you're out there on the streets hustling or whatever like that, right? How much are you gonna make today? You're gonna make $1,000 today? You're gonna make $1,500 today? I will pay you. This is what Young Thug told Lil Baby. I will give you this money. I will pay you the same amount of money that you would have made today just to not go out there and just come to the studio and hang out with us. Look around, you know, talk shit, you know, smoke weed, whatever it is, but I want you to stay out these streets, right? Because imagine what the game would be, and I'm talking about like me and you, right? Imagine what the game would be today without like Lil Baby in the game, right? It would be crazy. So they actually like saved somebody, you know, from the streets and brought him into the game, which is pretty dope because Lil Baby is a fire ass rapper, right? But this was cool how like a lot of these OGs, and I'm not saying that Young Thug is an OG, you know, Gucci Mane is, but it's funny and cool how like a lot of these older rappers were actually looking out for Lil Baby as he's coming up, right? I'm from New York, man, and New York is not like that, man. If an older rapper see you in the streets messing up and they know that you're next up, but you still getting it, you know, the hard way, they ain't gonna say shit, man. They gonna let you, you know, shoot your own self in the foot, which is crazy. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. All right, so Desiigner goes on Twitter, right? And he's like, free me from this label, right? And this is crazy. So a lot of times rappers, they're like, oh, I don't want to be on the record label no more. And sometimes I think it could be like a publicity stunt. Like, I don't know what's going on with Lil Uzi Vert, right? But we're talking about Desiigner here, right? And the whole thing about Desiigner is that I think that he's for real, right? So for y'all that don't know, Desiigner is signed to Good Music under Def Jam, right? So Def Jam, y'all know, huge record label, but then Good Music is actually Kanye West's record label that's under Def Jam, distributed by Def Jam basically, right? And then on Good Music, you have people like, you know, Kid Cudi, Q-Tip was there once upon a time, 2 Chainz, Big Sean, Travis Scott, Pusha T, of course, like a lot of those dudes, right? And so I guess, you know, the whole thing about Desiigner is that he came out with that one song that was dope, Panda, right? And Designer's from New York, right? He's from Brooklyn. But I guess like Pusha T or somebody was riding through New York. They heard Desiigner on the radio on Hot 97. They wanted to reach out to him. They reached out to him and they ended up signing him, right? So Kanye West actually used Panda on Father Stretch My Hands Part 2 on his album Life of Pablo. But ever since then, Desiigner hasn't really been like buzzing the way he should have or could have, right? Now, after that, Timmy Turner came out. Desiigner was XXL freshman, 2016, I think it was. And Timmy Turner was good, but it never reached the height of a Panda, right? And the whole thing is that when you come out the game and you already have like a smash hit, right? Like let's say Lil Nas X comes out the game with Old Town Road, right? Smash hit. That's your first song ever. Even if your follow-up song is pretty good and is pretty big, like, you know, Panini or something like that, if it doesn't reach the level of a Old Town Road, people might think, oh, you flopped, you washed up, you're a one-hit wonder. But a lot of people in their whole career would never reach the height of an Old Town Road, and Desiigner did that on his first day out the gate. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same kind of thing that's happening with Desiigner, I feel, right? So Desiigner comes out with Panda out the gate, and even though he has mad other songs, Timmy Turner, It's Up, LA to New York, like mad other songs, those songs aren't getting the notoriety and the buzz that, you know, Panda got. And since it doesn't get that, people are just like, yo, this dude flopped, right? Also, you know, Desiigner came out with Panda by himself before the record label even signed him. So maybe they kind of think, well, why would we put money and a push and energy behind him when he knows that he can make a hit on his own? So they kind of just leave him to his own like devices and tell him, all right, dude, whenever you got another hit, then you come back to us. You feel me? But it's clear that Desiigner needs some help with like his record label, A&Ring maybe, promotion or whatever the case may be, because I don't know if he's struggling to find his sound or what's going on really. But anyway, I think Desiigner is a dope artist, and if he wasn't on Good Music with Kanye, then what record label would he even be on? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. All right, so that is an attack of some woman in Houston, right? So Trae Tha Truth actually posted up that video on his Instagram, right? And then like a couple days later, which was like yesterday, he posted up another picture with him and her on his Instagram. And then he put on the caption, he says, I know a lot of y'all been seeing the video of an older black woman being abused and robbed at a gas station for her truck. On my previous post, well, let me introduce you to her. Her name is Mrs. Sheila, or Mrs. Henry Sheila, a hard-working black grandmother that didn't deserve that. I had to pull her on that and let her know that real ones across the world ain't accepting this at all, and that we stand with her. Now she's got real ones with her. Love. Remember, this could have been our mothers, grandmothers, glad she's safe and glad her truck is back, right? So the whole situation is like these two dudes, and they look mad young, right? Haven't been caught by the cops yet or anything like that, but this is some sucker shit when you try to rob some old lady that looks like your mother or your grandmother, right? Instead of like some dude that may be able to fight fight back, right? They tried to go for a person who they knew they could get the upper hand from, right? So the whole thing is that they were trying to rob her for all her stuff, and she gave it to them, but they were also trying to rob her of her truck too, right? And get the keys from her. She refused to give them the car keys, so then they like tripped her, punched her, but they didn't really like punch her hard. They kind of snuffed her. She did fall down, as y'all saw, and they kind of dragged her across the parking lot, right? They did manage to get the keys from her. They hop in the truck, and then they was out, right? But the truck was found with no like dents or scratches or anything on it, about a mile away from the gas station, and the lady is okay. She didn't even have to go to the hospital, which is great, right? This all happened in Houston, and then you know Trae Tha Truth is from Houston. He has his own day in Houston. He's been doing a lot of things to give back to the community for like 10 years now. So of course this is something that directly affects him, his cause, and everything. So of course he would stand up and try to, you know, go visit her, talk with her, and make sure she's good, right? Other people like DC Young Fly and T.I. came out too, kind of, you know, denouncing these dudes, saying like, this is not gangsta, this is not what's up, you know, real G's don't do shit like this. But you know, the whole thing is that at least she's okay, right? And this is a dope ass example of like our community taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves, and making sure that we are good, right? And you know, they probably do know who it is that jacked her, because they're in Houston, and they probably were dealt with. And you see, the cops didn't have to get involved. Everybody in the community just deals with everybody else in the community like what it should be. You know what I'm saying? But let me know what y'all think about this and everything else in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me at Jonny Fastlane on Instagram, and y'all already know what to do. Peace.